afternoon, everyone, and thank you all for joining us today. I'm here with Colt Gilt, Director of the Oregon Department of Education, and Dr. Dana Harganani, the Chief Medical Officer at the Oregon Health Authority. It wasn't even a full month ago, though I know it feels like years ago, that I ordered all Oregon schools to close temporarily in an effort to help stop the spread of the coronavirus in Oregon. Since then, we've implemented further orders asking Oregonians to stay home to the maximum extent possible, closing down restaurants and bars, and requiring social distancing at other businesses across the state. I know how hard this is on every single Oregonian, and I thank you for your sacrifice. I also know that the measures that we've put into place are necessary actions right now to save lives. I wish I could make it easier for everyone, and I wish I could eliminate the frustration that so many of us are feeling right now. My top priority will always be the health and safety of Oregonians. That is the forefront of my mind with every single decision that I make. To the best of my ability, I also want to provide Oregonians with as much information I have as quickly as possible so that you may have some certainty in these very uncertain times. We want to give you the ability to make plans for your children's education and for everyone's health and safety, especially because I know that social distancing orders have required huge sacrifices from our children, and that missing school is especially difficult on our students and their parents. To all the moms and dads, I can't imagine what you're up against, balancing parenting during this very scary crisis, while I know many of you have either lost a job or are a first responder, or are trying to work from home with your kids there, all the time worried about education and figuring out homeschooling. This is really hard on parents, too. To that end, I can't imagine it's a surprise to anyone that we've really been struggling with how best to provide educational guidance during these extraordinary times. We have your kids and all Oregon students at the forefront of every decision that we make about school. Their health, happiness, and safety is a top priority. I know there is a lot of anxiety over how we will move forward. I know our students are extremely disappointed they are missing classes, prom, and graduation ceremonies. But the best thing we can do for the health of our children and for thousands of educators across the state is to give everyone certainty by announcing the decision today to close in-person classes for the remainder of the school year. School and learning will continue as best as we can using remote means. A core value of our schools is to place the student and their learning at the center of all of our decision making. We understand the incredible disruption this can have on each student's education. We all see the isolation and the challenges for our families, especially those who rely on school as a centering place for connection, community, and comfort. Every state in the country is struggling with these decisions. I am proud of the way our students have navigated this new world of unknowns and the efforts of our teachers, educators, and parents to rise up and meet the demands of this difficult new reality. This decision is important because it is about safety. It is first and foremost to protect our kids and our teachers. It is impossible to adhere to social distancing measures in our classrooms and our schools. Oregon's education workforce is typically older and potentially more vulnerable to COVID-19. We need to make sure we're keeping our students, teachers, principals, and school staff safe as well. There are also operating costs to schools in preparing for a potential reopening. Deciding to close now for the rest of the school year allows us to invest time and resources in the delivery of learning and supporting our students through distant education and remote means. I know this is certainly not what any of us were hoping for, but it is truly the best decision for our system. Now, for our high school seniors who are just weeks away from finishing out their last year of high school, I also want to provide the plan and how we will move forward. The Oregon Department of Education, in consultation with teachers and school districts across the state, has put together a plan that will honor the great work our students have completed through March, when we temporarily closed school, and still provide a pathway toward graduation. Concerns about equity for our houseless students, our students of color, our low-income students, and our vulnerable students are at the forefront of my mind when making public policy decisions that impact all Oregonians. This is part of the reason why I support this plan put forward by the Department of Education. All our high school seniors who were on track to graduate prior to the statewide school closure will receive a passing grade for their courses. This allows us to maintain Oregon's current graduation requirements. I refuse to punish students, many who have been in Oregon schools for over a decade, because they could not attend classes for a little over 2 months. However, for those students who did not have a passing grade in mid-March and need time to improve their grades in order to pass one or more classes needed for diploma, I'm asking our school districts to focus their efforts finding creative ways to get these seniors the extra attention they need to get across the finish line. It encourages our schools to develop alternative learning plans for our seniors, and we are already seeing schools deploy creative tactics that are locally driven and reflect the best interests of our kids. I expect nothing less in helping sure that seniors can graduate on time. In addition, I'm extending the existing executive order for Oregon's post-secondary education system to continue following distance learning through the end of the academic term. Oregon's public universities are also committed to ensuring that incoming freshman students who intend to enroll at our state institutions are considered fairly in light of the educational interruptions they have endured in their final year of high school due to COVID-19. No student admitted to public universities this fall will have their admission taken away due to changes in this new grading policy or inability to complete their coursework as long as they still graduate. So again, I know that schools closing for the remainder of the year is not the news that you had hoped to hear. However, I hope the plan to graduate our seniors and our commitment to continued learning removes some of the stress of uncertainty for our students and our parents across the state. I also want to take a moment this afternoon to really honor the educators who are dealing with this unprecedented situation. Our teachers, our principals, our superintendents, our counselors, bus drivers, and food service staff. I know how much you love your students and how much you love teaching. This is a really difficult time to be a teacher and to try and reach all of your students, assist them, and help them grow. I honor your creativity and public service during this historic time. Thank you for everything that you do. I think we're happy to take questions at this point. Sure. I'll let Director Gill come on up. But Oregon students are at the forefront of every decision we are making about school during this crisis. Their health, happiness, and safety is a top priority. Director Gill.